Hello, boys and girls. I am back for another ELA lesson. So let's begin by reading the learning target. I can examine details in a text to help me develop a good title. Now, what really makes a good title anyway? The title should have words that describe the most important thing, person, or idea in a story. They should help the reader visualize or imagine what the book will be about. Now, how do details help us write good titles? We know that details support the most important part of a story. The details in this case are like clues to a good title. We can use those details to create our title by finding the most important thing, person, or idea in that story. So let's begin. For today's lesson, we're going to be listening to a read aloud by Leo Lionni. As you can see here, I covered off the title, but that's okay because we're going to be creating new titles for this book. Now, by looking at the cover, I want you to think about what might this book be about. Well, when I look at it, I see red fish here on the bottom, and I see this lonesome black fish swimming away. There seems to be a body of water with this blue background. So I'm going to assume it has to do with fish and in the water. Now, since we know that we need to record our details, I'm going to use a web chart to do so. If I knew the title, I would put it here in the center, but since I don't, I'm going to leave it blank. And I'm going to use these parts to record my details. So let's begin with the read aloud. A happy school of little fish lived in a corner of the sea somewhere. They were all red, only one of them was black as a mussel shell. He swam faster than his brothers and sisters. His name was Swimmy. Oh, there's Swimmy among his brothers and sisters. One bad day, a tuna fish, swift, fierce, and very hungry, came darting through the waves. In one gulp, he swallowed all the little fish. Only Swimmy escaped. I can see Swimmy here, swimming away. I'm so sorry, little fish. He swam away in the deep, wet world. He was scared, lonely, and very sad. I noticed that on this page, the color of the paints that made these pictures has changed. It's much darker, not as bright. But the sea was full of wonderful creatures, and as he swam from marvel to marvel, Swimmy was happy again. He saw a Medusa made of rainbow jelly. There's that Medusa who has purple and blue and yellow colors, and they're swimming. A lobster who walked about like a water-moving machine. Strange fish pulled by an invisible thread. A forest of seaweeds growing from sugar candy rocks. An eel whose tail was almost too far away to remember. And sea anemones who looked like pink palm trees swaying in the wind. Then, hidden in the dark shade of rocks and weeds, he saw a school of little fish just like his own. Let's go and swim and play and see things, he said happily. We can't, said the little fish. The big fish will eat us all. But you can't just lie there, said Swimmy. We must think of something. Swimmy thought and thought and thought. Then suddenly he said, I have it. We are going to swim all together like the biggest fish in the sea. He taught them to swim close together, each in their own place. And when they had learned to swim like one giant fish, he said, I'll be the eye. And so they swam in the cool morning water and in the midday sun and chased the big fish away. And that's the end of the book. So we see that all these fish survived because of Swimmy's wonderful idea. While I was reading, I was recording important details, so it ended up looking like this. I have them numbered based on when I saw them in the book. So the first one would be one of the first details, and the 8th would be the last one I saw. So going through it, I see Swimmy is a black fish that swims fast, and a big fish, the tuna, ate his family and Swimmy escaped. I remember that he felt scared, lonely, and very sad. But then what changed it all for him was seeing the wonderful things in the sea. It made him happy again. He saw many things while he traveled, like a colorful medusa, a lobster, strange fish, seaweed growing out of colorful rocks, a long eel, and sea anemones. And Swimmy didn't think it was right for the fish, the school of fish, to stay doing nothing. He wanted them to act. And then Swimmy came up with a plan where all the fish can come together to make one big fish to scare the other big fish away. So by looking at all of these details, I want to come up with a really good title. Now, Swimmy definitely sticks out to me. He is definitely the most important thing in this story. And let's see. I know that he was fast. That was probably how he got away from the big tuna that ended up taking away his family. And by looking at all these other details, I would like to say that Swimmy was pretty brave. It wasn't easy for him to be alone swimming through the sea, especially since he's such a small fish, but he still did it. So the title I would put would be Swimmy, the fast, brave fish that saved. Now, some ideas that you have might be different, but that's okay. Remember to use the details, and if you were the creator of this cover or the title for this book, you would want people to pick it up and read it because it's really adorable and cute. So yeah, when you do your assignments, make sure that you look at the details and you are specific when you make your title. You want to highlight the most important part of those stories in your titles. That will be all. Bye, everybody.